Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self-realization. Please subscribe our channel for the mystical meanings of the scriptures and to enjoy daily satsang with us. We are currently exploring the book The Mystery of the Soul, Katha Upanishad, commentaries by Swami Jyotirmayananda ji, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. We were on mantra number 15, which is that self is without sound, without touch, without form, without taste, and without smell. It is indestructible, eternal, beginningless, endless, immutable, and is greater than the greatest. Having known the self, one attains freedom from the jaws of death. So we had started studying this mantra, and I made it a little bit longer yesterday, 16 minutes of video, because of the depth of this mantra. But anyway, we will continue it. Generally I try to keep the videos less than 12 minutes so everybody can take that time. Attachment, hatred, egoism, greed, infatuation, jealousy, desire, and the many other expressions of ignorance are like the open jaws of death, in which the souls are constantly crushed and pulverized as they pass through numerous embodiments. Think about this for a minute, meditate upon it. All these impurities, vices that have been accumulating over several embodiments: attachment, hatred, ego, greed, infatuation, jealousy, desires, endless, so many problems we have, and then we get totally enmeshed in them. The body that was given to us for enlightenment is wasted into the cycle of life and death. But by attaining self realization, ignorance, which is the root cause of all miseries, is removed. That is the central root. All these things of lust and anger and greed all exist due to ignorance. Why? Because we think the world is real. We think he's my enemy. We think he's our friend. But in the end, it's all just like your dream. Your dream is not neither real nor unreal. It is not there when you wake up. Much in the same way, this world is also illusory. And once you remove the ignorance, which is the root cause of your trouble, the problem is solved. An enlightened sage is no longer affected by death, either physically or psychologically. He is absolved from all that. He has attained, reached home, attained what he came to do in this very life. Mantra 16. Whoever listens to and expounds the teachings that were given by Yama to Nachiketa attains glory in Brahmaloka, the world of the cosmic self. So here, Lord Yama wants to say that this is such a beautiful divine secret that most people who are lost in the world, if even a few are able to catch this rope and climb to save themselves, the person who has increased this awareness and brought that knowledge will go to Brahmaloka. That is the significance. But that is not enlightenment. Brahmaloka is the highest loka you can attain through your spiritual efforts. But in enlightenment, you transcend even that and you are never born. But this itself is a very beautiful reward, because as many lokas there are, lokas meaning transitory planes of existence, full of pain and pleasure, different kinds of bodies, different kinds of life forms. Here, being one with Brahma means you are in the supreme most plane. Mantra 17. Whoever recites this supremely secret teaching with a pure mind before an assembly of Brahmanas. Who are Brahmanas? Spiritual aspirants. Look how compassionate Yama, Lord Yama is. He does not discriminate by caste. He's saying anyone who is a sincere student is a Brahmana because he wants to learn and he is seeking knowledge. Or during the Shraddha ceremony of the forefathers, so during Shraddh, it's a very auspicious thing, attains the infinity of the self. He verily attains the infinity of the self. This is the final dictate from Yama to his favorite disciple Nachiketa, who, although is only 5 years of age, but he is a very advanced soul. He has been doing these practices. That's why we say physical age and form don't matter. Sometimes our kids may be born as our gurus. This actually happened with Devhuti in the Bhagavatam. She, Lord came in her womb, and then he guided her towards enlightenment. Such is the blessing. So, different ways. In these last two mantras, the first chapter of Katha Upanishad, the Upanishadic sage declares that any person can attain a glorious state of supreme spiritual consciousness by merely studying, listening, or reciting the wisdom contained in this section. However, its endless merits can only be realized by increasing the purity of the mind. That's why they say Shravan is just the listening part, Manan is the contemplation, and meditation comes after that. So it has to be a three-step process, and purification, as you know, is an ongoing activity. Even in your homes, if you don't do cleaning, it gets dirty, then you have to keep on cleaning it. Cleaning once isn't enough. So, a yogi who not only listens and recites but meditates as well and realizes this wisdom is bound to attain the imperishable goal of Brahman. There is no doubt in this. So, with this, we are ending the third and final section of the first chapter of the Katha Upanishad. So let's move on to chapter number 2, section 1, mantra number 1. Yama continues to impart this knowledge. Remember, he tried to dissuade little Nachiketa by giving him all kinds of rewards, all kinds of the best of the things as temptations, but he rejected them all like a piece of straw. And that's what happens to the enlightened people. The world becomes like a straw. It exists, they realize it, they go through this world, but they are beyond it, transcended it. So, moving on to mantra 1, the self effulgent Brahman created the senses with outgoing tendencies. Intentionally, eyes see outwards, ears hear from the outside, nose smells the external smell, taste you touch with your tongue from the outside, and skin is also external. All these things were done by uh, Brahma through creating outgoing. So, this creates the illusion that this is all there is. Therefore, they see the objects that are outside and not the innermost self. But every now and then, some rare, heroic soul, desirous of immortality, withdraws his senses from the objects and perceives the self within. So, this is the journey of the soul, and a serious spiritual aspirant is a rare occurrence. You cannot find this in the common marketplace. Few people have the drive, inertia, stamina, desire, ability to walk on this path, but it is the righteous path. It's the path that will take us forever outside the wheels of life and death. It's the way to salvation, for sure. The first mantra elaborates upon the theme that although Brahman is hidden in all beings, yet he cannot be realized until the intellect is rendered subtle by the force of knowledge. So that intellect has to become intuitive. just worldly intellect is not of much help on this journey. Big degrees are not of much help on this journey. Big egos are certainly detrimental on this path. So there are many, many things an aspirant has to be careful about. In the process of creation, the divine plan has mixed a greater proportion of rajas, which is the principle of activity and passion, into the world perceived at the plane of the senses. Therefore, it is natural for the senses to turn towards the objects of the world due to Rajasic nature. Ensnared by the objects of the world, people tread the path that is pleasant and enter into the gaping jaws of death. With this, we conclude our satsanga for today, and we will continue chapter 2, section 1, mantra 1. This beautiful narration, guidance from the Guru Yama, Lord of Death himself, with Nachiketa. This is Swami Nikhilananda. I will see you in tomorrow's satsang. Hari Om Tat Sat.